Journey with the Gita 1 to 6, from distress to action and bliss. Arjun, a mighty archer and a man of action, seeing his grandfather, his guru, his kinsmen, and his friends arrayed on the enemy front lines at the beginning of Mahabharat war, experienced the symptoms of distress. His mind refused to fight and look for the reasons not to act. In that grief stricken and bewildered state, Arjun sought the guidance of Sri Krishna as his disciple. The way to look at the grief. Sri Krishna addressed Arjun's grief, advised him to develop a proper perception. Understand, joys and sorrows arise out of sense perceptions, come and go like winter and summer. Hence, learn not to be agitated by them. Realize the transience and non-permanence of body that goes through the phases of childhood, youth, old age, and death. Accept something that is born has to die. Hence, don't lament over the inevitable. It is unworthy of grief. Focus on the eternal, unchangeable soul. Neither it is born nor it dies. Be aware of attachment to desires, attachment to fruits of work that cause suffering. Develop the attachment that leads to the state beyond suffering. Profundity and sublimity of actions, karmas. Sri Krishna motivates Arjun to act with a proper attitude. Knowledge about karma leads to the liberation from the bondage of karmas. Realize Brahman or the higher power has nothing to do with actions, sense of doership, and fruits of actions. Comprehend actions. The prosperity bringers emanate from the modes of nature, hence, the compulsion to act. To maintain the physical health, actions must be carried on. Realize actions are nothing but senses engaging with sense objects. Understand there is action in inaction, there is inaction in action. Burn actions in the fire of knowledge. You have the right to do actions, but not the cause of result of actions. Be contented with natural gains. Have no sense of ownership. Be equipoised in successes and failures. Perform actions with controlled senses and mind. Actions as a karma yogi, non doer. Actions as offerings to Brahman. Offer all actions to the Supreme, from cultivation of knowledge, food intake, sleeping to breathing. Offer with faith, then actions will not be binding. Detachment leads to the state beyond suffering. Desires. Sri Krishna advised Arjun to be aware of attachment to desires. Understand as actions born out of the modes of nature, desires born out of the modes of nature, especially the mode of passion. Realize desires dwell in senses, intellect, and mind, bring about attachment or aversion to sense objects through senses, remain unattached to pleasures of senses that have beginning and ending, cause distress and suffering. The state of bliss. Sri Krishna suggested Arjuna the ways to manage desire and attain the blissful state. Check the forces of desire by shutting out external sense objects, equalizing the flow of incoming and outgoing breath. Regulate desires born in the lower self, made up of mind and intellect, by studying the lower self through higher self. Use mind for the upliftment and elevation, not for degradation. Realize the effects of senses on mind. Contemplation of sense objects develops attachment. Attachment leads to anger, delusion, and ruination. Despite the restraint of senses from sense objects, the taste for sense objects lingers on. The lingering taste seizes upon experiencing the higher one. Understand, unconquered minds are enemies. Conquered minds are friendly minds. Friendly minds rise above dualities. Friendly minds have equal vision. To make minds friends, eat moderately, regulate sleep, have balance in work, while working with senses, remain unperturbed by the flow of desires, become free from attachment and aversion, unite the mind with the Supreme, engage in meditation. Practice meditation and detachment with resolve and faith. Bring wandering mind gently back. Then, gradually, the passion gets subdued. Mind attains peace, experiences the bliss in oneself, the bliss beyond sensual pleasures. Find the light within. Response. We know very well a sorrowful and distressed mind will not be ready to act. First and foremost, its mental state needs to be addressed. That is what Sri Krishna did. A great, deep, and convincing explanation about grief. The state of distress is temporary. Let us recognize its temporariness. Let us try to refocus our energies on something that is sublime and eternal in us and in everybody else. Acceptance about death, the last act in our life, eases our journey with sorrows. A great reminder to all of us about our strong and endless attachment to fruits of work, desires, and the pleasures of senses. Let us be a little bit conscious of the sorrows that spring from these attachments. Let us strive to see and witness the drama created by our own attachments. Let us learn to develop the feeling that actions we do are offerings to Brahman. These small acts may work wonders in life. Be ready to experience these wonders. Wonder, perplexed, last. Why are the desires mentioned when talking about actions? That is the Gita. Actions are born out of nature. Desires also spring forth from our own nature. the mode of passion. See the connection between desires and actions. It is the desire that impels us to act. Desires reside in our senses, intellect, and mind. We enjoy the taste of a thing once, the desire to taste it again and again rises in our mind. Attachment thus grows stronger and deeper. That is how we invite our own sorrows. We don't apply brakes to our desire, just allow ourselves to be drawn into a whirlpool of attachments. The Gita has given us doable and wonderful tools to tackle this great problem of attachment. What are the forces of desire? When our desires are unfulfilled, when we are chasing them all madly, we experience anger, anxiety, stress, agitation. To check the forces of desire, equalize the flow of breath. The other wonderful tools to steady our wandering minds are practices of meditation and detachment. Practice them with resolve and faith. The Gita also emphasizes the importance of practice. No shortcut, regular practice, but with faith. Detachment means a little bit of distance between us and senses and mind. What an idea! Our breath is the solution to our agitated and stressed mind. The practice of meditation, a way to experience peace and bliss. Let us just use these wonderful tools. Let us be happy with ourselves. Let us spread happiness and peace.